This too sharp with ET. The headlines today: Ola Electric shares climb as investors spot signs of a turnaround despite a wider quarterly loss for the quarter. And India's wholesale inflation that drops to a 20-month low, giving the households as well as the RBI some breathing room. Ola Electric reported a consolidated net loss of 428 crore rupees for the quarter ended June 2025. Now that's 23% higher than the same period last year, and the revenues from the operations they fell sharply, nearly 50% year on year to 828 crores. But sequentially, revenue rose more than 35% from the March quarter, showing early signs of recovery. What the street really cheered and the investors liked was that the company's improving operational performance gives some hope. Ola's automotive segment turned EBITDA positive in June, and the first time ever for the EV maker, remember. Now, the gross margins for the quarter improved to 25.6%, its best on record, as the company cut the material costs, also leveraged on its vertical integration and ramped up the proprietary technology. So the company's aggressive cost-cutting program, Lakshya, that really helped bring the monthly auto operating expenses down to 105 crore rupees now from 178 crore rupees just 2 quarters ago. Also remember that the consolidated operating margins now stand at 150 crore rupees a month, and the company expects to keep them flat even if the volumes double by the end of FY26. Now, Ola reaffirmed its FY26 guidance, aiming to sell between 3.25 to 3.75 lakh vehicles and also generate revenue of up to 4,700 crores. Now, the company also said it expects auto EBITDA to remain positive from Q2 onwards and also reach more than 5% or by the end of the year. So Ola closed the quarter with a cash balance of over 3,000 crores and said it doesn't expect any immediate funding needs. So the stock rallied as much as 17% intraday, closing about 1% higher, around 40 rupees per share, and the investors appear to be pricing in a credible turnaround despite the headline loss. Meanwhile, India's wholesale inflation that eased further in the month of June, hitting a 20-month low on the back of softer food as well as fuel prices. Now, the wholesale price inflation came in at 0.13% for June, down from 0.39% in May, marking the lowest level that we have seen since October 23. Fuel inflation cooled sharply. Prices of onions as well as potatoes fell by more than 30% each, while pulses as well as cereals, they also saw a decline. So retail inflation for May had already dropped to a 6-year low of 2.82%. And RBI now projects FY26 inflation to an average of around 4%, slightly lower than the earlier estimate of 4.2%. Now, with inflationary pressures easing and risks seen as balanced, RBI could have more room to maintain or even lower the rates later this year. That's it. On to Sharp with ET. Thanks so much for tuning in.